things like my business cards for the culture, or even like black makeup companies, come about because of what there already isn't.
Right.
Like, it's very much already a niche. So for me, I have had this conversation. Oh, are you interested in maybe expanding over to this culture, or including maybe the Latinos, or maybe, and I'm not, because the culture is so rich, y'all.
Right.
It's not limited to my black experience. But at the same time, I can only speak on my black experience, right?
Exactly.
So I don't doubt that there are still other ideas and other things that are untapped, but there's a market for that.
Right.
And I hope that someone that actually, like, I can't create something in the
That's
same
why
sense.
you had your market. That's why you decided to do it.
Right. Like, I can't speak on someone else's experience. I just wanted to share something that, I thought people with a similar experience can relate to.
Each one of us has a story. Our journey has and is continuously impacting us. By listening to my guests share how they are discovering their best self, you will discover the best part of you.
All right. And thank you for tuning in to Discover Your Best Self podcast. And we are so excited today because, y'all, we have one of my friends who is Kendra Mills. K Bills, Cards for the Culture, the Car Lady, Saucy CEO.
Ooh.
Hey, it's just all of these, everything. She's all of that, okay? So I'm really excited because we're talking about, how she, came up with this idea to start having stationaries. And if you don't know what a stationary is, y'all, that is a greeting card,
You're going to learn today.
It's a little bit of, sauce, some swag to it, black culture. And so, further ado, please introduce yourself and tell us where you're from and, how did you start coming up with this idea?
Well, I must say, Shanice, it's going to be hard to come behind that introduction. But as you said, I'm Kendra Mills, K Mills, and the CEO and founder of Cards for the Culture. As she mentioned, Cards for the Culture is a black greeting card company where I kind of combine some of the ideas that we share in music, television, art, and just common phrases that we use in the culture. So making something for us, by us, shout out to FUBU one time. No, but really trying to tailor greeting cards to make them more like something that you and I can relate to. Shout out to Mahogany, but I feel like that's the only black brand that we have. It's generally very mature, sometimes spiritual. And I'm like, what about my ratchet friends? What about my immature friends, people like me? We want something that we connect to too. So just creating options in the stationary greeting card industry. I'm from Houston originally. And I think the last question you asked was, how did I get into the industry?
Yeah.
How did I come up with this? I had the idea because I'm one of those people that would spend 30, 45 minutes going through all the cards in the greeting card aisle, trying to find something that I felt would really resonate with the person I'm gifting the card to. And it was a challenge every time. It was never a quick little situation. You want the card to be thoughtful, meaningful, and something that the person can connect with. And it's just like, you end up making your own card anyway by making a paragraph and just making it make sense. It's either too corny or too deep or heavy, and it's just like, maybe I just want to say congratulations in a fun and playful way, right?
Yeah.
So I had the idea years ago, but like many of us, we sit on them for a long time waiting on the stars to align.
You can't let the idea float too much because it might float to somebody else.
And it usually, I know everybody watching this podcast can really attest to that. Like, oh, I had that idea years ago and I just never did it. I could have been, I wish I would have thought of that, and it's like you sit on it, but you don't have that inspiration for no reason, right? So I felt like I was fortunate, and I know the word choice is a little odd there, but fortunate that COVID happened because it forced me to...
No, I think the word choice was perfect.
Be still. And like most of us, we have very busy lives. We're expected to show up in this way and that way, and creativity and all those other projects are extra. That's when I have time to get around to it. So we don't prioritize our creative interests. And so I ain't have nothing but time. With COVID, I'm like locked down. I'm scared to go outside. I'm wiping down my groceries. I'm like, Lord, don't let me, And so having that time and the resources, I got my little stimmy, got my little stimulus check. I'm like, okay, maybe this is the time. Still had no clue what I was doing, but I was like, let me just start.
Right.
And
we don't always know what we're doing, right?
Still don't know what I'm doing.
The process of learning, right? And so I think while you're learning how to do something, and that's the exciting part. And also the part where other people like yourself, they're like, oh man, I don't, you fail so many times while you're doing it.
Absolutely.
But it's okay because now you know the ins and out of it. You're able to, you say you want to build a team. Well, you can't build that team if you don't even know what's
expected of the people you're working with.
And you're like, no, this is exactly how I want it to be done. These are the steps, and to do that, it takes time, and you just have to build it.
Perfecting the process, honey. Absolutely.
Yeah. So when you first started with the cards, I guess what made you think of like, I'm going to put these songs into it, or I'm going to, use, I know you're just a creative person anyway, but, what made you say like, what, this is going to be my first card and see how this goes, and I can really make money from this?
Well, to be completely honest, I'm like goofy. I'm goofy as hell, right? So I love words. I have the background with poetry and everything else. I didn't necessarily have a clearly defined vision of what the card company would look like, or what is going to be that best-selling card that's going to put me on the map. It was just kind of like, it would be cool if I saw a card that had this or that. And I was like, but how do you do that? So literally every step of the journey I have been learning on the job. Like, you remember Take Your Daughter to Work Day?
Yes.
I'm the daughter and I'm the mom. Like, I'm just like, okay, well.
You're there learning with yourself. Like, oh, okay, I'm already there.
That's working. Okay, we're going to have to work on your artistic skills a bit, you know. But it was just like, I like this idea. Let me see how I can make it happen.
Right. So, are you an artist? Kind of like when you were drawing, but because your cards, they look like the people, right?
I would hope so.
But they do. They look like the people. So I was really surprised. I was like, I didn't even know she could draw.
You did say that?
Yeah. I was like, when did she start? Because at first I was like, so did she take when I first saw them? I think first thing I saw was your Instagram or something. You started following me. I was like, who is this?
It's me.
And then I was like, wait, when did she start drawing? I ain't never seen no pictures.
Right.
And so, I mean, it's not like, everyone's talents, but I just felt like maybe you would have said something like, oh yeah, I can draw or whatever.
Okay, so let me tell you how that came about.
Okay.
I used to draw a lot as a kid, right? But like, there's so many talents that we had as children that we abandoned because
facts.
You get caught up in the rat race. You get caught up in trying to make money, okay? Is this little sketch going to make me some money?
Right.
Probably not, but slanging this candy wheel. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I feel like I knew that was something I used to enjoy, but in my adult life, it's something that I hadn't even thought about in forever. And so it really came down to the money, okay? I knew I had the idea, and I didn't want to have to outsource a graphic designer. But if I could show you some of my original sketches and artwork, there are not really things I would.
But you had to get back into that practice,
right?
I think that's everything, right? Because when, like you said, when you stop practicing something that you liked when you were younger, then it kind of goes away.
Yeah, they say if you don't use it, you lose it.
Yeah,
right?
and it's true.
So, like, needless to say, my original artwork when I first got started. Just thank God for friends that were gentle with me, amen. Because I'm an artist and I'm still sensitive about my shit, But it definitely took that discipline and practice of like working at it every day, and then it got easier for me. But I'm not gonna say like I hopped right into it and things just lined up. No, it took work for sure. But I knew I didn't want to pay somebody,
right?
Because I knew I could do it. I just kind of had to sharpen that skill a bit,
So. Before you started doing the cards, like, tell me about all the different things that you were doing before then.
So I often joke that I've lived 1,000 lives because I've had like so many different crazy life experiences.
I've worked everywhere.
That's what I'm saying. So retail, I've done slanging tennis shoes, women's clothing and tailor. I've worked at a pediatric dental office. I've worked at a law office.
I've worked everywhere.
Kroger's, you know, and I would like to add that I did have the highest, what was the act were you scanning everything fast?
You were scanning fast.
I was getting them out there, sis. I was up there, you know what I'm saying? I was like,
go through her line.
I was regional, okay? I was a big deal in the checkout line, okay? But, and then I worked as a flight attendant for 7 years. I've worked in banking. I've worked in marketing. I've done like so many different jobs. And I do feel like all of those different experiences have helped me with becoming an entrepreneur.
Right.
Because I really didn't know, okay, you have a business, but what does that look like? But yeah, I've done it all, honey.
Yeah.
Slang Coke and pretzels, slang tennis shoes. I can sell anything.
Do you think that some of the experiences you had relate to you being able to focus on this and saying, like, okay, you know, I've had all these experiences, you know, but this is where I'm going to focus right now to be able to get me to a different point in my life?
It's like a yes and no. I'm one of those people that, hey, if I make the decision, I'll do well at whatever I really try to do. You know what I mean? And it's like, well, if I can scan those groceries that fast, or if I can, you know, put up numbers for sales and, you know, I just like to do well with whatever I'm connected to or whatever I do.
Right.
It's like, imagine if I did that for myself, right? But you have that idea, you have that confidence, but sometimes you're looking for what is the thing that I need that I could really like put myself in a position to sell myself.
Right.
But that's also like a really scary thing that a lot of people don't talk about. Like there's a certain level of vulnerability that comes with creating and selling a product of your own. Because it's an extension of you.
Yeah, and now you're putting yourself
so you don't
out
like my
there
card?
to judge. I love your card.
No. No, but I'm saying there's a certain vulnerability with like, hey, I created this product. I hope you like it enough to buy it. You know what I mean? And it's just really putting yourself out there on a different level. You have to have a certain level of confidence and be ready for the rejection that you dealt with in sales without taking it as personal because it's your product.
Right. And I think also, you know, once you're getting it out there, you also have to remember the people that may be purchasing the product are not your personal friends or your personal family. Because I'm thinking, I'm like, oh, what are they? And it's like, it doesn't matter. Like, that's what a 0.2% of the people who are actually going to purchase my product, they may think it's amazing. You know what I'm saying? Or horrible, whatever. It doesn't matter. But, you know, it's
taking that relationship out of it.
Yeah, taking it out of it so it's not like so personal. It's like, you know, whoever sees this, they may totally relate to it.
Now, I will say, it doesn't matter how many times you tell yourself that or how many times you see it on the gram, on the timeline. Your friends and family ain't going to be the ones. There is a certain expectation with the people that you love that you just would hope.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That they would just rock with you just because. I don't care if I got 3,200 t-shirts. Maybe I need 3,205. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
But I also feel like sometimes we limit ourselves to just the thoughts or like how our family and friends feel about what we're doing. When as much as we appreciate that business, the love and support, I'd rather you be my support system than like the people I'm going to for business advice when you've never had a business, or the people that I'm looking to make or impact the decisions that I make for my business. Right. It's just like you're a customer like everyone else, and I shouldn't put too much on what you say or whether this is something for you or not, because I also feel like on the flip side of that, we have to understand that maybe our product is not for all of our friends. You know what I mean?
And that's what I mean. It's not for them to... Like, we want them to support us, but the majority of people that are buying it, we don't know who they are.
Yeah, this is not... I'm not limiting it to, like, this microcosm of the whole community that is actually going to rock with it. So I feel like, you know, take advice, take criticism, and also take the encouragement with a grain of salt, because this is just a small representation of the people that we're trying to tap into, the market that we're, like, building on. So, girl, that's the thing.
So, like, for you, the journey to get to where you are, you know, obviously you had all of these different steps and jobs and, you know, things that you did, and then COVID happened, and here you are, you know, in your creative space because we were forced to sit down.
But
and so it just gave you that opportunity to work on it. But now as you have, you know, been growing and learning a little bit more about your business and, either had some highs and lows,
Yes. Yes and yes.
What is it that makes you feel like, what, I'm going to keep doing this? Because I know we had a separate conversation, just about, man, I don't know if I should keep doing this and I want to work on something else. But now you started it.
We in it now.
Now we in it. So it's like, how do you take that to the next step? What are you doing?
Well, I feel like anything that you do repetitiously, like, there is some element of, like, burnout. Especially when, like, in my case, I'm a one-woman show. I do everything myself. And I'm not even saying that to be braggadocious or anything. I want help. Help me, please. It's a lot to set up and do pop-up shops and still do the meal orders and still, show up to market your business and your brand, and then still try to maintain your own personal life. And the balance is not easy, for sure. But I think, I have that belief in my product that I did this for people. I didn't do, let me be careful how. I knew that it would make money, but I didn't do this to become rich.
Right.
I did this because I felt like I was feeling a need. And it's something that I could benefit from. I'm sure I'm not the only person that feels like this. The money will come. But I really feel like I'm providing something that people need.
Right.
So it's like, I have to do this, right? But at the same time, it's just like, I'm constantly fighting to find that balance. Because, like I said, this is the first, like, entrepreneurial gig that I've had for myself. So I'm learning everything as I go. And it could be a bit overwhelming.
And maybe sometimes there isn't always, like, a balance at the same time.
It ain't.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Yeah. Because I know for me, even, working or being an entrepreneur, whatever it is, it's just like some days I'm not working on my business at all. I can't. Like, I have to wash clothes or get my daughter or whatever, do all these other things. And I'm like, okay, well, my house can't look crazy all the time, you know? And it's just like finding these different, it's just some days my house wins and some days my business wins.
Every day is a new day, and I cannot guarantee you what the end of the day looks like, But it's kind of like showing up for your business, but you have to show up for yourself in order to be able, like, you can't pour from an empty cup. That saying. It's like, I had to take some time off because I felt like, okay, I'm doing 1 or 2 pop-ups a week. I'm promoting. I'm doing my own social media is a job. Okay,
it's a whole.
I need y'all to be liking and engaging a little more because I be really trying to, this is a job. Okay,
it is, and that's why they have job descriptions for it now. They didn't used to have a job when we was in high school,
right?
And so we're learning. I mean, we're all learning, but I just feel like some of the younger. I'm like, man, they just can.
There's so much opportunity.
All day can be on there, and for me, it takes work to be on there all day promoting and stuff.
Yeah, and it takes a lot out of you. And for me, like, I had to take some time off. I'm like, I could be doing a million things for my business, but it's equally important for me to go to happy hour today because this is my mental health moment. You know what I mean? Like, I have to find ways to make sure I'm still enjoying myself, and this is still something I'm excited about and excited to share, because if I feel burnt out, if I'm not excited about telling you about my product, who's going to be excited?
So do you think that sometimes, I mean, I feel you on, hey, I have to go enjoy myself, but do you think that sometimes it's a point where you should be like, man, maybe, for me to focus on this, I have to scale back on these things or whatnot?
Like we said, no 2 days are the same.
Right.
I feel like there are days where I even have it to do all that because I don't have it. I don't have it to go, it takes a lot to just go out, especially when I first got started. Girl, I was selling cars by my bag. Girl.
Yeah.
I was at Trez Artmont, like, hey, do you mind if you guys, take a look at some of the cars I created? I started a black green car line. And they're like, yeah, I'll check it out. Right. Generally people are like, yeah, I'll see what you're doing.
For sure.
But it felt very much like slinging mixtapes out the trunk. It was very ghetto. But I'm very proud of it, though, because I had to get over that initial, like, putting myself out there.
Yeah.
But I had the wherewithal in the space. Now, if I'm not excited about it, that energy, before you open your mouth, people read your energy and feel your energy, right? So if I'm just like, hey, I got some cards, y'all mind taking a look? You're probably not going to be as interested, right? Like, what this girl? So I feel like that I'm not gonna say unobtainable, because that ever shifting balance looks different on a daily basis. So I think it's important to take the time. And there are days where I'm like, okay, this is my list. I'm going to be disciplined. I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. And if it doesn't get done, it's not because I didn't try.
Right.
But I'm not going to kill myself to run this business. Like, it's going to be well because I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm not saying you should be a happy hour every day. But I might see you. But if you are, like, hey, use that as a networking opportunity. Sometimes network is supposed to still be work, right? Like, yeah, I'm still introducing people to my product, and I'm in a happy space.
Exactly.
Especially on my second, third glass of Prosecco or some wine or something, you know? So I'm just like, I have to still be excited. That's an important part of the business. Like, I got to be excited about my product.
Yeah.
And if I'm burnt out, I can't do that.
Right.
I don't want to talk about it.
So I know that, you know, I just interviewed Black Market, and
shout out to the Black Market.
And, you know, tell me about your experience just being a part of that, and then, you know, what the retail experience you think, what do you think that that's going to be like, your vision, you know, moving forward, and the expectations of that? I'm excited to know.
Okay, I'm going to give you the raw. My very first pop-up with the Black Market was October 2020.
Okay.
And I think I'd only ever done one pop-up my entire life.
Okay.
Which I'll get into the story of how that even came about. But I was like, okay, the Black Market, my friend Tori, hairdresser, best friend, told me about it. And I was like, okay, that sounds cool, but I don't really know what that looks like.
Yeah.
So I finally signed up, and I was like, okay, what do I have to lose? Worst case scenario, I can chalk this up as a marketing expense, right? Because I wasn't sure how it would do. Just didn't know what to expect.
Right.
Girl, I went, and it was just such a transformative experience for me. Girl, I was in there crying, girl. Crying tears of joy. My mom came in like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. So many Black people just...
I think I saw you had posted her there.
With her teary eyes. And, you know, the support, the love was overwhelming. Like, literally seeing people look at the cars and they're like busting up laughing. Like, it's that awesome. Is why I do it. You know what I mean? It was so rewarding because being in the Black Market gave me the opportunity to, A, just be in front of so many different people. And then 2, like, people are like intentionally coming to support Black businesses, small Black businesses. And it was just like seeing people rock with it. That was when I knew I had something.
Right.
I felt like people will support you in general if you're just a good person. They might not ever do anything with it or give the card away.
And I think when they see that you're consistent. Like, like it's almost like you have to prove yourself.
Oh yeah, they definitely haze you. For sure.
You getting hazed on your business.
I was getting hazed. So Black Market for me has been one of the best things that happened for Cars for the Culture because A, I met so many other small Black business owners that I've been able to build relationships with and see the grind, and like people can relate because they're doing the same thing. Like, it's a different business, a different product, but the hustle is the same. The grind is the same. So it made me feel like I found my community, right? Because I have friends that want to support, but they don't know anything about running a business or what is a pop-up shop. You know, that's cute. A sipping shop? Well, I mean, it's more shop than sip, you know?
Right.
But now that the Black Market is entering into the retail space, I've been able to cultivate that relationship over the last almost year since I've been in business. And I think it's dope because people are becoming way more conscious of where they spend their money and trying to circulate the Black dollar in particular.
For sure. So
to have one store where no matter what I purchase, I'm supporting a small business and a Black business. I think it's a really dope concept.
It's super dope.
Because now most people shop online for Black businesses. There aren't very many, like the ones that hit, we all know about them because they're at Target.
It's not a lot of brick and mortars.
It's not.
You can't. I mean,
not yet.
Yeah, not yet. And I wasn't sure, was it going away? You know, with COVID, and you know, even before COVID, I worked at Neiman Marcus, and you know, just people coming into the mall had tremendously slowed down, just
Yeah.
like because
It's inconvenient.
Yeah, because of the online and Amazon and all this stuff. It's like, well, I can just go online, and so
And it's the free returns.
Yeah.
If it don't work out, right.
but I think people want that touch. Like for me, I like to go see my clothes. Now, if I'm like, man, I just gotta hurry up and find something, whatever. But I do like going somewhere.
I like that experience.
Yeah,
too.
picking it out, talking to the person there, having
How
that.
looking to fit
Yeah,
it.
like what's or suggest me what's new. Like I don't know what's I gotta go online and think about it myself.
And you're a specialist, right? You know
Yeah.
everything that you guys have. Well, if I like this, I'm probably gonna like this. Like a more customized shopping experience,
for
right?
sure.
Versus like, the little things that are programmed by the computer
Right.
when you're shopping online. I like talking to people and stuff too. But
Well, we social people.
we social. And then too, like I'm also the person that buys stuff online. I don't return it. I'll just give it to
Yeah.
somebody else. I don't like.
I
all the
don't want
hassle.
to work here.
Right? I'm gonna send y'all an invoice.
I don't want to work here. I don't want to work at
It's
UPS.
inconvenient.
I don't want to do that.
It's just as
USPS,
much-
whatever.
and it's always a line, girl. especially
Yeah,
right
I
here
don't
in
want to
Riverwoods.
do all of that. Just forget it. I done lost the money. I can't.
Yeah, and so as convenient as it is, it's less convenient than going and knowing I have something that fits me right now, and
Right.
not my COVID body, like not my pre-COVID body,
Right.
not my I don't know. Like it looks good. I know how it feels. I know what the material looks like. I know because
Right.
those pictures are deceiving sometimes online. But yeah.
But tell me about this. I know that it's very the cards as far as like culturally, it's not necessarily for everyone, right?
Right.
And so obviously you're okay with that.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure you've had other people who have asked you that before, or do you ever feel like, oh well, I'm only targeting this market? Does that does that limit me? Or are there other things that I can do, just as and that's for any business owner, even the makeup line that's mostly for Black women or whatnot, you know what I'm saying?
Right. I feel like things like my business cards for the culture, or even like Black makeup companies, come about because of what there already isn't.
Right.
It's very much already a niche. So for me, I have had this conversation. Oh, are you interested in maybe expanding over to this culture, or including maybe the Latinos, or maybe? And I'm not, because the culture is so rich, y'all.
Right.
It's not limited to my Black experience, but at the same time, I can only speak on my Black experience, right?
Exactly.
So I don't doubt that there are still other ideas and other things that are untapped. But there's a market for that.
Right.
And I hope that someone that actually, like, I can't create something in the
That's
same
why
sense.
you had your market. That's why
Right.
you decided to do it.
Right. Like, I can't speak on someone else's experience. I just wanted to share something that, I thought people with a similar experience can relate to. Or in the same way, like, I won't serve food that I haven't tasted. Like, I can't speak on another person's experience, right? So for me,
Like, how do you, if it's Asian, like, what songs am I going to put? Like, how can I even directly
now
relate that?
I'm not above maybe having subsidiaries, what I mean,
Right.
come
They can
about,
do
but
that, yeah.
it's going to be authentic Asian people,
Right.
right?
Who know
Or,
their
like,
culture.
Right, like I could definitely do anything for Selena's,
Yeah.
but like I'm not
I feel like
a
I'm
Latino
limited after
woman.
that.
Yeah, I'm a little limited because that hasn't been my experience. But I think it's beautiful, and I think everyone at this point in time is like starting to be more deliberate about doing things for their culture.
Which is true. I mean, because we're in a country, in a
Melting pot.
in a world that has been whitewashed. So it's like, to bring back to what we like and what we want, things that are for us.
And that being
is appropriate.
okay.
Yeah, it's
That's
appropriate.
that's
and
a
it's
new
okay.
thing.
Yeah. Like, oh, it's okay to be me.
I mean, we're living in a time where, we're still overturning different HR rules for how Black people can wear their hair, or what's considered professional.
Exactly.
Or, you know what I mean? Like, this is the day and age that we're living in, but I think, Black people in particular are just waking up.
Yeah.
And just tapping into that power and owning who we are. And
Yeah,
so
I
Cards
love it.
for the Culture is just an extension of that. Like, you know what? I don't have to spend my money on something that doesn't really reflect my experience.
Yeah. Nor do you support me or like me. So it's okay.
And shout out to like all of my non-Black customers because, you know, everybody's tapping into Black culture.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody wants, hey, y'all, you want a piece of Black culture, you know? And that's fine. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Like, why not? You know? So I feel like, hey, you don't necessarily have to look like what's on the card to understand and resonate with the message of the card. But at the same time, I don't feel bad for tailoring my company to my experience.
Exactly. And I think it makes total sense. I love it. You know, like you said, people are woke now and at least trying to be.
I still got to relax a bit, you know. That's another conversation. It's okay.
Well, listen, it's all about your preference.
Right.
I think that it's about being okay with saying like, okay, well, if I have a relaxer today, tomorrow I can have, you know, Nubian braids.
Well, you
It's
know, I've
whatever
had
you
Nubian
want.
braids. I've had a fade.
Yeah,
I've had everything.
You
girl.
can do whatever you want, and I shouldn't be judged because I want to change it next week.
And I will.
Yes.
Child, I have so many stories of sidebar as a flight attendant. Like, if I would pack me a wig and switch it up on day 2 of the trip, and I'm like down for pickup, and they're looking for me, I'm like, y'all, it's me.
I'm right here. I
My
promise
face
you.
is the same.
Well,
Like,
people really get confused. I don't know why. Even us get confused. I run into people like, "Oh, your hair," and I'm like, "Oh, it's me still."
look at me. What more do you want?
I don't understand.
Yes, girl. Sidebar. We got.
It happens. But no, I mean, I think it's really awesome. It's going to be in the store.
Yes.
So, you know, not only can you order online.
Yes.
You can hit her up on Instagram as well. But, you know, you can go inside the store if you're here in Houston, Texas, in Pearland, and actually touch, feel, see, you know, the cards and, you know, just have somewhere where we can be us and feel okay and have products that surround us by us.
Just making it easier for us. Well, making it easier for you to spend your money with me. But making it easier to have products and, you know, people are creating services that just make sense.
Yeah,
you
for
know?
sure.
And so I will say, having my cars in the retail space was also like next level. So
Yes.
it started with slanging them, you know what I'm saying, slanging them online.
Yeah.
And then it was like we graduated to the purse.
Yes.
And now we're doing pop-up shops.
Yes.
And now we're in a retail space. It's like, oh wow,
But
is
it makes
amazing.
you go for a new goal, right?
Absolutely.
I was just talking to a friend earlier today about, you know, we've already reached these goals, this goal, and so now what's the next goal?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I'm in this store, so what's next for me? Maybe I'm collaborating with this, or maybe I'm doing this or whatever. Who
I'm
knows?
definitely shooting for Red Circle Boutique Target. So Target, if you're watching, hi. I'm Kendra Mills, CEO and founder of Cars. I really think I can add a little something to the greeting card out. But
I really definitely think so. I mean, because that's now that these companies are seeing that, not only do they create products, but they also spend their money.
Yeah.
Because we have money that we spend. I mean, we spend the most money.
yeah, the black dollar is
Yeah, we do. Especially black women. We spend the most and make the most. So, you know, it's just about making those opportunities. And so now you've created a whole nother lane and opening of that, you know, just by you being your creative self. So my last question that I always ask.
That went by so fast.
It did. Listen, it goes by.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Can't.
Catch your breath.
Anywho. Yes. So tell me, you know, what does it mean to discover your best self?
Whew. I swear I've seen the podcast before I knew this question was coming. But I feel like self-discovery is a daily journey. I feel like you said, you're always setting new goals. And with those goals, they push you in a different way. So you're constantly evolving and learning new things about yourself, whether it be talents you haven't tapped into a while, or even areas where you need to grow as a person. I feel like discovering your best self is just what it means to exist and live on purpose.
Right.
You know, and with purpose. So, hey, I'm learning, you know, from all of my interactions, whether it be I'm slinging cars or like running a business or even just learning the balance, like I'm learning my strengths and weaknesses. I'm learning how to better connect with people. I'm learning what makes me a better saleswoman, what makes me a better creator, or, you know, just all of the things. It's a daily journey. It has been a daily journey. And I'm really excited, though, and I'm really grateful just because it's pushed me in a way I've never been pushed before. So I'm discovering best self on a regular.
Yeah.
Every day.
Every day when I wake up, I'm like, here we go.
Another one.
Another one.
Got a card for that.
Yeah, show us one of your cards real quick. Read one. Just grab one of these. You want me to pull?
Yeah, because I don't
Okay,
know.
let's see.
My skirt is a little short, praise the Lord.
See.
Oh, no, not that one.
No?
Grab one of the ones in the frame.
Okay.
So we have new job, who this, and if you can see up close, it's Tommy. Because if you ever watched the show Martin, nobody ever knew what Tommy did. Come to find out, he actually had a job.
Interesting.
But it's like new job, who this is meant to be a celebratory card for a friend that may have just gotten a new job. But it's funny, right? And most people will automatically know the reference to Martin. We have, the inside is cool.
This one?
Yeah, let's do that one.
Okay, I like this one.
If you're into ratchet music like myself, you may have heard the song "One Time for the Birthday Beat," 2 times for the. So it's just really highlighting Black faces, Black music, Black culture. Disregard the ring light reflected.
Listen, we gotta get our shine on.
Get your shine on. Should that be a card?
Yes.
But I have everything from Martin to the Baby to DJ Khaled to Meg Thee Stallion to we bottle popping like for a baby shower. It's just a little
so
something.
cute.
Yes, queen. Like it's all kind of like colloquialisms that we use, and also things that most of us will recognize.
Right.
Just, so.
Yeah.
Definitely still a niche, like I said, because it's a younger demographic that I feel like it targets. Mm-hmm. But it's just because we're in the beginning, so we're going to grow from here. And
for sure. And I can't wait to see, what that growth goes to. Just like I said, last year I interviewed someone, and now their stuff is in Target. Come on,
I receive it. All the energy.
And so I'm just like, man, this is amazing that I get to meet these awesome people
on their journey.
Yeah, on their journey, and to see what they're doing and still get to be able to talk to them and see how things are going. And so I can't wait to see where we are, after this and, down the road, because I know it's, somebody is out there. You never know who's watching you.
Yeah.
You never know. So
is it you? No.
Tell them where they can find you.
Okay. Well, guys, Cards for the Culture is actually spelled a little uniquely. It's spelled with K's, like in my name, Kendra. So, cardsfortheculture.com. That's KARDSFORTHECULTURE.com. We have an Instagram and Facebook as well. And feel free to follow me too. Kendra Faith11, KendraFaith11 on Instagram. So you can watch the journey too as I discover my best self.
Thank you so much for agreeing to do this.
Of course.
It was awesome, and I'm glad we got to show the people what the cards look like.
A couple. I have like over 100 cards though, so you guys be sure to check me out. Hopefully there's something that resonates with you and something that you can appreciate.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, girl.
Thank you for listening to Discover Your Best Self. Don't forget to subscribe and comment. Follow us on Instagram at Discover Your Best Self.